Republican Congresswoman Jaime Herrera Beutler joining us now. Congresswoman, thanks so much for joining us. Today was your last day in office. Just for those people who weren't familiar with your race, you voted to impeach Donald Trump. He opposed you in your primary. That gentleman, Congressman wannabe Joe Kent, defeated you in the primary and then lost in the general election. You are one of the many examples of someone who would be in Congress right now if Donald Trump hadn't interfered in your primary and backed a guy who couldn't win in the general. People have been hearing about this for a while. So I'll get to that in 1 second, but what is it like watching this chaos?
Jeffries.
Oh, it's sad. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. No one wins when the elected leaders cause unnecessary drama. I feel like the American people have been through a lot of drama in the last several years. And so when this kind of thing unfolds, there's no purpose for it. Like, there's not going to be something good that comes of it. And so it just makes me sad, makes me heartsick, makes me think about my colleagues who are on the floor right now, who are good people, who are probably frustrated to no end, just thinking, I worked my tail off to get here. I just want to do this job. Can we get on with it already?
So of the 10 House Republicans who voted to impeach Donald Trump after the insurrection, only 2 are back in Congress. Everyone else either retired or was defeated in their primaries. No doubt those 10 would be in the McCarthy column right now. But is that not relevant to what's going on here, to extremes in the Republican Party gaining power, gaining a voice?
I mean, I think there could be some relevancy, absolutely. I think extremes on both sides right now are really wagging the dog. I remember the last swearing in. I remember having a really frustrated conversation with Steny Hoyer because they had flown, because they had to be present to vote, and Pelosi demanded everybody be there to get her votes across, to get across the finish line. And, people with COVID showed up, and I was so mad about that. And then I was thinking about this morning when I was watching this whole thing unfold now with the Republicans. It's just drama. And I think that the extremes, who still only represent a minority of the party, but they have this outsized platform, and it's ridiculous. I had to kind of smile after one of the last votes, thinking, well, great, now that these nutzos only have to convince like 198 more Republicans to come their way. They're just not going to do it. There may be some shift, but the reality is the majority of the Republican conference is not going to give in to these demands. So it's really, I guess we have to walk through this. And I say we as a country, not, me as private citizen, right, a part of this. But this is, it's not helpful in any way. If anything, I would argue it hurts whatever their cause is.
So one of the things that strikes me about watching the House Republican Conference change over the last few years is that you have the extremes, the Matt Gaetzes of the world, the Gosars and Boeberts. But then you have a lot of House Republicans who have kind of acquiesced and played along with things that they normally wouldn't have, largely because of Donald Trump, who was, at the time for 4 years president, and then also, of course, just a force in the Republican Party. You saw this firsthand. Your relationship with Kevin McCarthy fractured. He told you about his call with Trump the day of the insurrection, almost 2 years ago today. And Trump had refused to call off the rioters from the Capitol. And then Trump said something to Kevin McCarthy, like, maybe they care more about this than you do, Kevin. And Kevin McCarthy wouldn't share that conversation. And then reportedly, you told the story. And reportedly, he got mad at you. And then McCarthy pops up at Mar-a-Lago. How much of the chaos that we're witnessing?
I got to tell you, this feels like we're going into, where are you going here?
But my point is, like, how much do you think Kevin McCarthy is responsible for this madness by acquiescing? We talked to Congressman Dave Joyce earlier. He says that a lot of what's going on right now can be traced back to McCarthy 2 years ago, kind of going along with this stuff.
McCarthy.
I think it's a fair question. I don't know is the answer, but I do have to have some of the same questions, right? I have kids. I have 3 little kids, and I'm learning as I go. Would you put your foot down? Sometimes you get better results than not, and you have to apply that here, because I feel like there are some people acting like toddlers on the floor. Maybe that is a better way to have handled this, but maybe not. I have noticed that some of these folks cannot take yes for an answer. I heard one of the people on the floor talking about trust, can't trust, right? And I remember just thinking, well, so maybe there isn't I cannot believe that how much personal agency these members are choosing to give up on the House floor. I always believed that you align with the team, right? You pick a team. Republicans, you pick a Democrat. But I never gave my voting card to the speaker or to the leader. In fact, I paid a price at times, and not just talking about impeachment. There are other things where I crossed kind of the will of where the leadership was. But there's always this respectful understanding that I have to represent my district. And I hear these guys talking about how Kevin has to do this for me. I need this, and I need this from him, and I can't trust him. And I'm just thinking, what kind of leader are you in your district that you can't, all these people are talking about how they don't like the swamp, and they don't like Kevin being in the leadership of the swamp. And for people who are anti-swamp, they make a whole lot of backroom deals that are not in consensus with Republicans that are there in the House. I just feel like they're operating under this double standard that at some point, I do think it's going to be the members, the other Republican members, who you see it now. You see them pushing back. You see them saying, you're not speaking for me. I think more of that will come and more needs to come. But this is their moment. I mean, this is their big chance to make headlines, to put out tweets, to build their social media narrative. They're probably not going to get as much more of that moving forward, so they're going to take it for all it's worth.
Yeah, one of our panelists, Jonah Goldberg, referred to Congressman Matt Gaetz as a human Twitter account just a few minutes ago. And this gets into one of the things that
highly makeup one, very highly makeup one.
But one of the things that's curious, so you and I were talking about how it was literally 100 years ago, 1923, that the Speaker of the House was reelected on 9 ballots, and I was